What's going on, basketball fans? Harrison Graham, Marshall Green here from Chat Sports. And a lot of you guys probably know this, but if you don't, I do most of our videos at Dallas Mavericks Today. You see the link below, youtube.com/MavsTV. Marsh is our New York Knicks host, and he swears to me that the Knicks are going to catch up in subscribers. I just don't see it happening anytime soon, but it's up to you guys to prove it.
Yeah, I just think, math is math, and there are more Knicks fans than Mavs fans out there. We are just in the infancy stage of this channel. We launched it in July, right before NBA free agency, and we're already almost at 4K. I want to get past the Mavs channel, in a year or two, but it's all up to you. If you love the Knicks and are looking for a Knicks channel that does nothing but cover Knicks news and rumors, this is your channel, youtube.com/KnicksTV.
And here's what it comes down to. Mavs fans, Knicks fans, whatever channel you are watching on, we're going to be checking the analytics of these videos. So whichever channel gets more subs, one of us is going to be able to talk trash to one or the other on the topic of today's show. The reason this video is going on both channels, Jalen Brunson. Could he be heading to the Knicks?
Let's
That coming
do
up
it
right now. He's Marsh, I'm Harry. Are the Knicks going to trade for Jalen Brunson? Again, this going both on our Mavs and our Knicks channels. We each cooked up a trade idea that we will get to later, but let's kind of talk about the latest with JB.
Yeah.
Knicks, you've talked about it on Knicks Now. Could they use a point guard?
Yeah, I think it's time. The Knicks need a point guard. They consistently start games slowly, and I think that's a direct reflection of not having a point guard. They don't have a guy that can get the offense organized. They don't have a guy that can initiate the offense. I think Kemba Walker is a good scoring guard at this point, but he's not really an orchestrator, and he's really a negative on the defensive end. I know the Knicks are probably going to have to give up more than they want to for Jalen Brunson, but sometimes you got to give to get, right?
Yeah, and look, there's a lot circulating JB right now as the NBA trade deadline is less than a month away. A report dropped that he wants 4 years and $80 million. He's on the last year of his contract, which means a team that trades for him, if the Mavs were to ship him out, which, by the way, I would not want them to do, but if they did, team's got to be prepared to pay him. Like, you're not trading for a young player as a rental. Like, this is a guy you would want long-term because he's gotten better and better each and every year. And let me first say this. I would not trade Jalen Brunson. I wouldn't do it because he has been arguably your second-best player this year for the Mavs, third at worst, depending on how you factor in KP in some of the games that he's missed. Porzingis has certainly played well this year, ironically a player that the Knicks know very, very well. But you look at the numbers for Brunson this year, he's jumped over 4 points per game from last year to this year. He's dishing out a career-high 5.6 assists per game, grabbing almost 4 boards per game as well. He's shooting over 50% from the field. Not shooting quite as well from three this year, but certainly higher volume, which has possibly led to that. He has played really well, Marshall, by the way, with Luka Doncic. So I think if you're Dallas, if you're going to trade JB, you better be getting something serious in return. Well, you have an interesting comp for JB, though.
Yeah.
And why do you think he would fit with the Knicks?
I think he'd fit for the Knicks for a multitude of reasons. I really think he's a Tom Thibodeau product. He's a gritty, he's a young point guard that can get after it on the offensive end, but just as much on the defensive end.
Yeah.
I think he's like a Kyle Lowry light type of player. I'm not sure he'll ever be like the scorer that Kyle Lowry is. He's averaged over 20 points per game in some of his years in his NBA career, but I see Lowry as an initiator on the offense. I see him as a leader on the offense and defensive end, and I think this is a guy that's just touching the surface of what he can be as an NBA player. And I think if he got traded away from the Dallas Mavericks and got to get out of the shadows of Luka Doncic, we could really see him turn into a point guard that could have a strong hold on an offense and really get an offense to reach its maximum potential, something that I think this Knicks offense is really, really desperately missing. And I mean, it's 2022. It's the year of the point guards. You need a point guard in the NBA to be great.
It's been a big problem for the Knicks this year. For the Mavs, the problem of moving JB into the starting lineup is they've kind of had a void at point guard in their second unit, which is why I think that could be an area they address if they want to bring in some talent. Again, moving JB would be a bit of a risk for Dallas. We'll ask you guys this. Will Jalen Brunson get traded, whether it's to the Knicks or somewhere else? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. This will be the pinned comment on today's video, so be sure to get your votes in. And after this YouTube ad break, Marsh and I have cooked up some JB trade ideas.
That's
after the ad, we'll take a look at those.
Yeah, so we did both these trades in the NBA trade simulator. So the salaries, they match. This is one that I cooked up. I would like to get Jalen Brunson. I threw Dwight Powell in just to make the salaries match. I think you ship off Kemba Walker. I think it'd be a good piece for the Mavericks. He can come off the bench or be a starter. Another guy that for the Mavs that could have a catch-and-shoot option. He's instant offense. And I think Obi Toppin is probably the best and biggest piece in this deal, as well as a 2023 first-round pick. The one that the Knicks gave or got in the Kristaps Porzingis trade, that pick going back. I love Obi Toppin, but I just don't really see a scenario that's going to work out for the New York Knicks as long as Julius Randle is a part of this team. They play the same position. Tibbs has just refused to play them together. I would like to see Obi and Randle play more together at the 4 and 5, but Tibbs, that just doesn't seem like that's in his plans right now. I love Obi Toppin. I think he has a very high potential, and I think that's why the Mavs would be interested in him. He's a rim-running forward. He has a great energy guy, and I think he'd be a good lob threat for Luka Doncic, but for the Knicks, you got to give to get, and unfortunately, I think you'd have to give up Obi Toppin if you want a guy like Jalen Brunson back in this trade.
Well, you got to give to get. Well, you put money down with BetUS, you're going to get extra money with our promo code CHAT125. Go bet on NBA games all season long by going to chatsports.com/bet. Now, Marsh lost some money the other night when the Knicks lost to the Timberwolves. He thought that was
not
a
good.
lock. Did not happen, but that's why there's always a new day when it comes to sports betting. Here's the deal. NBA title odds, they are out right now if you want to go bet on that. Knicks and Mavs, not in the top 5. Real shocker there. If you want to go throw some darts, there's some deeper odds there on those two teams. Nets leading the way, plus 275. Warriors, plus 400. I like Phoenix at plus 800 just in terms of best value here for NBA championship odds. Chatsports.com/bet. Plug in our promo code CHAT125. Let's take a look at my trade idea now here, Marsh. Similar return for Dallas, but similar pieces or similar return for the Knicks.
Yeah, Knicks getting the same guys.
Different return for Dallas, in my opinion. So I went the other route. You tried to give me Kemba Walker. I went Emmanuel Quickly, younger piece. I kind of flipped. And then I went with a veteran at a different position, Alec Burks. Again, the salaries line up here. And then a first-round pick this year. I want to pick this year. I don't want to wait until 2023. Plus, chances are the Knicks' first-round pick this year will probably be better than that Mavs used to be pick in 2023 that New York now holds. So we kind of cooked up some different ideas. I want the younger guard that can come off the bench. Marsh threw an Obi Toppin as the young piece for Dallas, but similar compensation overall. So pick a side, pick a trade. Knicks fans, you're watching on New York's Knicks now. Mavs, you're watching on Dallas Mavericks today. Which trade you like more? You like my idea or Marsh's?
And I was reluctant to give up Alec Burks. But now that I think about it, if it can get you Jalen Brunson,
he's just a better
you got to do it. Yeah, Burks is a guy that can come off the bench for the Mavs. And I've always loved Alec Burks for what he did in the playoffs last year for the Knicks. But I think it's just time to finally get a point guard. And if the Mavs are saying, hey, we want Burks, I think you got to do it.
M for Marshall, H for Harrison. Let us know which trade that you like better. Now, I mentioned before that I don't want to trade Jalen Brunson. But the fact that he apparently wants 4 years and $80 million, which I might be willing to give up or give him that with how much he's improved. If you're Dallas and you're saying, okay, Jalen Brunson wants the bag, and we don't want to pay him that much. Well, if you can get a first-round pick and 2 rotation players in return, that's at least something you got to consider. Whereas on the Knicks side of things, Marsh, as we bring him back in here, obviously, like I mentioned before, you got to be prepared to pay Jalen Brunson if you bring him in there.
And 100%. I don't know if he's worthy of the 4 years, $80 million. You know, the agent talk, they like to put that out during the year. Yeah, and I'm cool with that. Give him 15 a year, 16 a year. I just want to see what he can do outside of Luka, because we know Luka is the initiator of the offense. He's the lead guard. He's not the point guard, but he's the point guard on that team. Yeah. I would like to see what he could do outside of Luka's, dominant offense, and I think he could really be the missing piece for this Knicks team. I'd love to trade for De'Aaron Fox, but I think you're going to have to give up way more to get a guy like De'Aaron Fox and Jalen Brunson. I think Brunson would be a good piece, and after you watched the game last night against the T-Wolves, how can you not tell yourself the Knicks need a damn point guard. When Kemba went out of the game, the offense fell off. Obviously, the defense is going to be bad with Kemba, but if you can get a guy like Brunson to come in and play 35 minutes, I think he's a perfect Tom Thibodeau player. I'd love to see him in Knicks blue and orange.
One more take from me, and then one more from Marsh on the Knicks side. The Mavs are probably not going to be able to re-sign both Jalen Brunson and Dorian Finney-Smith. Both are free agents after this year. Dorian Finney-Smith is on a 3-year, $12 million deal. It's probably the best bargain deal in the NBA with his 3-and-D capabilities. He might command north of $10, $12 million per year. We're already seeing rumors of what JB wants and likely will command as well. Keeping both, that is going to be difficult. So, again, don't be shocked if these two players are connected to trade rumors.
Yeah, and we've said it throughout the show. The Knicks, they need better point guard play. And if some people are like, Marshall, Brunson's not that good. What about this? He's had games this year where he scored 25 points, 31 points, 25 points, 28 points, 27 points, 25 points, 23 points, 19. He is a good scoring point guard, but he's also a facilitator. I love Alec Burks. I think he's a great sixth man or seventh man or third or fourth guard off the bench. He is not a point guard, and that's where the Knicks have him playing right now. Obviously, the Knicks are going to get D. Rose when he comes back. I love D. Rose, but I like him more in that six-man role, come off the bench, and just light up the scoreboard. I really like the duo of Derrick Rose and Emmanuel quickly at the same time, but I think Jalen Brunson would be a key piece in this Knicks starting rotation. And if you have JB, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, that is a good starting five, and maybe that can get us back in the playoffs. Right now, we're the 11th seed. We're under 500. And we have the toughest schedule in the NBA the rest of the way. The Knicks, they got to make a move ASAP.
Well, both these teams linked to making moves. Who's the better team right now? Let us know. Again, this video going up on both our Mavs and Knicks channels, so be loud in the comments. Marsh and I are counting the comments on this one. We're not stopping the count here.
No, we're not. But I just want to – I missed the game. They played last week. I forgot who won.
Yeah, the Knicks kicked the Mavs' ass.
And
they snapped a winning streak for
I'm not that good of a reader, but I saw that the Knicks are 5-2 since 2018 against the Mavs.
It's been all Knicks recently.
I would like to be a Mavs fan. Luka Doncic, it's fun.
Which team's in the playoffs right now? That's all I'm going to say. NYK for the Knicks, DAL for the Mavs. Hey, maybe we'll do this in the future. This was fun. Appreciate you guys tuning in for this video.
Thanks, guys.